Police hunted for escapees with cauliflower ears and scar over right eye after 70 Nazis dug their way out of Welsh prisoner of war camp in one of World War II's greatest escapades. A police memo from 73 years ago has revealed new details about the PoWs who tunneled out of a British camp during the Second World War in the little-known German Great Escape. At least 70 men fled Island Farm in Bridgend, South Wales, in the biggest breakout involving German prisoners during the war. Their extraordinary escape saw them use tins to dig a 30-foot tunnel beneath the site's barbed wire fencing, and craft a ventilation pipe from empty milk cans. Wood from bedposts and stolen benches was used to make the tunnel structurally safe ahead of the escape on March 10, 1945. Mystery surrounded the identities of almost all of those who went on the run, until house clearers discovered a dog-eared police memo in a garage. The note appears to be from first-on-the-scene local police to superiors in Glamorgan just hours after the escape was discovered. It includes escaped prisoners' height, rank, eye color, hair color and weight, as well as unusual markers such as cauliflower ears and scar over right eye. It reveals for the first time that 27 of them were from the Army, 13 of the escapees were in the Air Force, 8 in the Navy and 3 in the notorious SS. The missing soldiers were aged between 20 and 40, and included 4 men called Hans and 5 named Karl. It only includes 54 names in total and states that just 9 of them had been recaptured by the time the memo was written a day later. The escapees were woefully unprepared for life on the outside and every single one was eventually captured, although never officially punished. Historians have long suggested officials at the time played down the number who were still on the run in the days after the escape. Historian Brett Exton, 57, has painstakingly recreated the faded list letter by letter, by filling in the missing words using a magnifying glass and scanners. Father of 3 Mr. Exton, said, the original document was found in a house clearance, but is very grainy and difficult to read. This is the first time the list has been seen clearly. The men have not been named before because nobody has seen or worked with the list since 1945. A solicitor who lives in South Wales was clearing the house of a client who died and she came across the documents in the garage and contacted me asking if I'd like to see them. They were barely legible and very grainy. It was very hard to decipher German names because it was patchy. I spent many painstaking hours over the last few months searching all possible names and comparing scans to work out their identities. Researching Island Farm is my life work and unraveling the lists was a particularly tricky piece of the puzzle. When I started the website, I had one son and he was a baby, now he is 19 years old. The cunning escape plan was hatched in Hut 9 of the camp. It was one of 1,026 prisoner of war camps established in Britain towards the end of the war to accommodate the 400,000 captured Germans that were shipped here. It housed 160 officers holding the rank of general, admiral or field marshal, including a number of Hitler's closest advisors. Senior figures including Gerd von Rundstedt, who was commander-in-chief of the German army in Western Europe, were held at Island Farm while awaiting the Nuremberg trials. Other notorious prisoners included Field Marshal Erich von Manstein, who established the operation plans for Hitler's successful campaign in the West, and the former commander-in-chief of the German army Field Marshal Walther von Brauchitsch. They were not allowed to be put to work according to the Geneva Convention, so instead spent their days hatching escape plans. Inmates in Hut 9 used cans, meat tins and knives from the canteen to dig up the heavy clay soil beneath them, which they put into their pockets and disposed of outside or behind the false wall. In order to ensure those underground could breathe properly, a ventilation pipe was fashioned from condensed milk tins and air was blown through with a hand-operated fan. The prisoners even fitted electric lighting underground by tapping the camp's main supply. All the while this was going on, the men sang German choral songs to conceal the noise. Each man's identity was only known by the others in his small group in order to protect against betrayal and discovery of the plan. On the night of the escape, the officers divided into groups, each of which was equipped with a map, homemade compass, and food. At 10 p.m. they made their move, All of them went underground and crawled through the suffocating 30-feet-long tunnel and beyond the camp's perimeter. A few stole the camp doctor's car and fled 120 miles to Birmingham, while another group got to the port of Southampton. As it turned out, the escapees were woefully unprepared for life on the outside, and every single one was captured, although never officially punished. Island Farm was built in 1938 as a dormitory camp for female workers at the nearby munitions factory, but was converted into a prison in late 1944. The breakout on the outskirts of Bridgend was reported the next day, and members of the Home Guard joined the search. This memo appears to have been written by Superintendent William C. May in Bridgend to an unnamed chief constable in Glamorgan. It is dated March 11, 1945, and titled Express Message with the